I realized from a directorship level is that you need to change with the times. And changing with the times meant I needed to repurpose myself. I needed to come back and reskill myself. I realized from a directorship level is that you need to change with the times. And changing with the times meant I needed to repurpose myself. I needed to come back and reskill myself.
Hello and welcome for a special Coffee with Coach session at Skills Rediscovery. Skills Rediscovery is India's first multilingual skills-based education platform where we promote live courses, and that too in many different languages, a language of your choice. Today we have a very special trainer, coach and online mentor with us, Miss Lucy Macridis. Miss Lucy is from Kenya. She's the executive director at Spa and Wellness Association Africa. She is also a clarity coach, a mentor, and an online facilitator expert at helping women get unstuck and harness their true potential. Welcome so much to this session, Lucy.
Thank you so much, Rushal. It is really a great honor to be here today. Thank you.
So we'll quickly, get to the point. We are really interested to know about your professional journey, how you have been faring through especially in the times of COVID, and also looking back, did you always want to do this kind of a thing and be in this business like ever from your school and college days, or it just happened someday?
Wow, that's a deep question. My journey. I am very blessed to have had a journey of mentors. I did not know that there were mentors at this time. Mm-hmm. I just knew that they were bosses and they were peers who we kind of gelled and we worked very well together. Today, as a clarity coach, I know that these were mentors, and I wish I knew then, because then I'd have really used a lot of their expertise. But my profession is in hospitality, and I've been in hospitality for the last 30 years or more. I started off in our hotel school here in Nairobi. It's a world-renowned hotel school. And there I studied and left and started working in the industry. Now, those days, Rushal, jobs were easy to come by. Yeah. In fact, people who are hiring came to college and they handpicked us. So you can imagine a 20-year-old receiving somebody saying that you can come and work for me, you can come and work for me, you can come and work for me. The choice was amazing. And I'm talking 5-star hotels. 5-star hotels. So the hotel that I worked for at that time was called Londra Hotels, which then became Fairmont. So I am talking 5-star hotels. Then there was Kempinski hotels that I worked with. Then there was the Thai hotel, from Thailand, called Dusit Hotels. These are 5-star hotels. Intercontinental Hotel, I also worked for them. So my journey started, yes, and it was great because I was able to learn from international market because our guests were international guests. It's only now recently that we have, as a country, have really focused on domestic tourism. But in those years, 30 years ago, it wasn't domestic tourism. It was all international tourism. People came to Kenya to see the wildlife, to see the Big Five. They came to Kenya to do game drives. And this was my journey in hospitality. And so I grew, and I grew from one position to the other. This is where I caught onto customer service. I realized the power of the customer networking, the power of meeting their needs and their expectations, and just being able to connect with them. So in those years of learning about customer service, something was growing in me. And I did not know until much later, in 2011, around that time, when I started getting this urge to go out and do something for myself. I was very scared, of course. If you have had the comfort of a job, 30 days, you get a salary. You've got structure. You've got certain way that things are done. And now you want to branch out on your own. But I took the risk and I started off with my consultancy at that time. And that time I was basically doing training for customer service. That's what I was doing.
Okay.
Fortunately for me, we had hotels coming into the country, and I got a few phone calls and I was headhunted. And therefore my journey with five-star hotels continued. I mean, I was weighing, my business is still young. I do need to pay the bills. My children were much younger at that time. So as a mother, I had responsibilities. So I gave up my dream, not forever, but I just put it up on the shelf, knowing I will pick it up again. And you can see now I've picked it up again. That stint of going back into the hospitality industry took me to the level of directorship. All this time, I was a frontliner and I was in managerial positions. But when I went back, because I was being headhunted, I leapt into directorship. And here now there's more of oversight. You're running with teams. So for me, customer service is the one that kept on coming out. By nature, my leadership is servitude leadership. I go in there and I work for the social norms, and I work and I roll up my sleeves. I am hands-on. I work with my people. So I'm a mentor and I'm a coach. Look how things just fall into place on your professional journey if you're paying attention. But I wasn't paying attention, Rushal. That's what I want to say. It took something like COVID to make me realize that I had a gift, I had a talent in mentorship and in coaching and in training. So when the pandemic happened and the industry fell on its knees, we had no jobs. There were no jobs.
Correct.
Nobody was traveling.
Yes.
This hospitality was the industry that was hit the hardest.
The most, yeah, I know.
I mean, the aircrafts, who would have ever thought that an international airport would not have a single landing or takeoff? That is something I still can't wrap my head around. If somebody had told me 5 years ago, Lucy, I predict that on this day, there will be no aircraft landing or taking off from your international airport. Who would have thought? But the day came. And what happened is, because of what I'd been doing over the years, I realized from a directorship level is that you need to change with the times. And changing with the times meant I needed to repurpose myself. I needed to come back and reskill myself. So I took what I had, which is my skills in mentorship and coaching and training, and I poured it into my company, the company that was on the shelf. I just poured it into my company. I then started upskilling, and I jumped straight now into getting a certification as a coach, a certification as a trainer. So with a trainer, I got my certification out of the University of Cape Town, where they had an online facilitator program. And that's the first thing I did in the beginning of COVID. There was no time to sit back and feel sorry for yourself. In fact, I gave myself 2 weeks. It was so depressing. I had to do something, Rochelle. And I'm happy that I did. I'm happy because now I feel I'm in my flow, I'm in my calling, I'm in my purpose. And what I have done so far on this professional journey is to help other people. That's what I'm about. My purpose is to help people grow. So my hospitality background has really, really helped me.
So this has really been a very interesting and indeed very inspirational journey, the way you just spoke it out. And yes, COVID has brought us to a point where a lot of people want to, take courses online. They want to learn online. People want to teach online. And actually, I think going to grow, right? Why don't you tell us about your major milestones ever since you started this online mentoring after COVID?
Well, before then, because the past is what was influencing my decisions of the day during the time of the pandemic. I was the first Kenyan African woman to be president of the SKUL chapter in Kenya. The SKUL chapter in Kenya, I don't know whether you know what SKUL is.
No, please tell us.
Yeah, SKUL is a tourism association worldwide. We have over 14,000 members in over 140 countries.
Amazing.
And what we do is we do business amongst friends. So for instance, now in Delhi, we already have Skull members there. If I needed to travel to Delhi today, all I need to do is go onto the website, we call ourselves Sculleagues, is get a fellow colleague and give them my itinerary. And then it is easier because they're able to connect me on the ground. I have more of an authentic experience when I come into Delhi. So I was the first Kenyan African woman to be president of the Skull Kenya chapter. I then became a founder of the Kenya Association of Women in Tourism, because all this is tied into my customer servitude in my hospitality industry. And this is what helped me to grow, because in these chapters, there's mentorship, there's coaching of the future generation. They look up to us because we've been in the industry.
Exactly.
And so we train them. Exactly, we train them. And the big thing, Rushal, is customer service. So for me, my major milestones during this time of the pandemic was reskilling, repurposing, looking at opportunities and not running. There's that fear in your gut that you've been doing something for so long. Why are you trying something new? That unknown, there is a fear in there. And already as a life coach, a clarity coach, I have taken that as a topic to help people in my situation to see the opportunities where they can't see them, because they are so driven by what has happened to them with the pandemic. And now I'm encouraging them to say what has happened for them. It is not to you. Don't be a victim. You want to be a creator. So the other milestone that I have done apart from big, I know you're liking that one.
That was interesting. Yeah, really.
Yes, don't be a
It's
victim.
all about the perspectives, right? How you look at a problem.
Yeah, it's a mindset. You choose either to have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset, but that is all about coaching, and we're not here about coaching. So coaching was a milestone for me. Online training was a milestone, Rushal. Who would have ever thought that I would be on a screen like this, taking people through a topic, and that we would be able to understand each other? Let me explain, and for those who are trainers, the in-person training is powerful, Rushal, because you can feel the mood in the room. You can feel if people are getting you or not getting you. You can feel if there is an upsurge and therefore you need to change your course a little bit at that point because there's a need for something else. It is beautiful. It is energizing. And we would go for, 5 to 6 hours a day, standing in a room. We have tea breaks and lunch breaks and networking in the evening. Now all that was reduced to a virtual session, 60 minutes or 90 minutes at a go, and we had more of those. We were zoomed out when the pandemic was happening, when it was at its highest peak. We were so zoomed out. We were jumping from one Zoom into another, but that was a milestone that today I am at home on a platform like this. And today I can motivate my audience when I'm on a platform like this. I can engage them. I would never have been able to do this before the pandemic. So that's another milestone for me. The other milestone for me is an opening of my mind to learning. So much, as you mentioned in the beginning, Rochelle, is available online. And therefore, I saw an opportunity there for online courses. So this is what I'm doing now. I am forever learning, and applying. One of the programs that I started during this time was for young women, for teenage girls, and I call it the Lady in Waiting. The Lady in Waiting program, I saw, yes, the Lady in Waiting. I saw an opportunity of young girls, teenage girls, staying at home during the pandemic, and idle minds is the devil's playground, because these girls would be at home and they're on their phones. It's a dangerous platform to be on when they're not in a controlled environment like school. So the Lady in
Plus
Waiting,
the social media has its own things,
it does. And that is actually one of the topics on my lady in waiting is social media and etiquette, because social media is a beautiful space, but then it can be a very dangerous space for a young woman if she does not have certain etiquette to learn what to look out for, to know what is dangerous, to call out for help. And these are one of the things that I do. The program is about just helping you to gracefully transition into society, because you're a teenage and you're transitioning into adulthood. So I take you through 5 units, and that had such good feedback until the schools opened, and then we couldn't do it at specific times.
What was the age group?
The age group that I tackled was teenagers from the age of 13 to 18. That is who I speak to.
That's pretty much the middle school and high school.
Yes, it is. So we had closed down our schools in Nairobi, but once they opened up, then what we were doing during the week, we had to change to the weekends. And slowly the weekends have become very busy. So now my lady in waiting program is only available over the school holidays, especially in the first 2 weeks. Then we allow them to go out and have their fun. So those are my major milestones, and I'm so happy. I have grown so much, Rushal. If you had me on a virtual call like this 2 years ago, I would have been a very different person. So milestones are great.
Yeah.
Yes.
How is the Omicron situation at Nairobi?
Well, it changes every day. In the beginning, when other countries were registering numbers, spiking numbers, we were still not affected. Then when the numbers started to grow, they just spiked. And they were spiking towards the December holidays. And this is when people are on the festive season and people travel. So we found that now people have traveled and now they are back into the main cities to continue with business. The numbers now have gone down, and we are able to go on with our business. We never stopped our business, but that time it was a bit scary. The challenge is every other day we're in the hospitality industry, you get told that you cannot now travel to a certain country. People from that country can't travel to your country. And then the next week it's a different story. So you really can't plan ahead in the hospitality industry today. But the good thing in my world as a coach, I can take you through a session wherever you are in the world because we are here on virtual. So these are one of the benefits that the pandemic has brought me.
So you have a very interesting course on Skills Rediscovery. That's our platform. It's called Build Wealth Through Customer Service. So it's a 10 hours, which takes 5 sessions. Walk us through the course.
Well, in this specific course, I highlight to you that without a customer, there's no business. Literally, without a customer, there's no business. So you can set up whatever you want to do, but you want a customer. And when you're meeting the customer's needs and expectations, it's because of the solution that you have provided in your service or in your product. So there are certain things you have to understand. You have to understand your customer. So know your customer. For those who have done customer service before, it's KYC. Know your customer. Knowing your customer is many things. It's like having a buyer persona, which means you have this fictitious person that you create as a business person to say, this is my customer. This is my ideal customer from all the research I have done. So that's your buyer persona. And you try to think, what kind of challenges does this customer have that I can give solutions to with my product or my service? What kind of wishes, desires does this customer have that I can also meet with the solutions that I have? Where is this customer? What is their journey? Where are they? Are they on the digital space? Are they in magazines? Are they on the TV, on the radio? Where are they? So that whatever I have on customer service, I can meet them on their customer journey. So I take you through these 5 units, and I take you through the identification first of what is customer service. We walked through that through definition. Yeah, we walk through defining your customer. We walk through defining their needs and expectations. And this is where we break the myth. Many a times companies have failed on the startup because they create a product and expect the customer to want or need that product. They've not
Right.
done their research. So you have to understand a customer's needs and expectations. So that even if you did make that mistake and create a product before your research, you're able to tweak your product to meet this customer. Then you're able to create a need. I also take you through personal traits because as a customer service agent, there are certain traits you have to have. And one of them is a positive attitude. Positive attitude. You cannot be coming to work grumpy. There is a saying in my part of the world about a bag. Now, there's a basket that is made out of sisal. This is the bag that in the village, women would carry groceries, would carry farm produce in, and they'd put it on their head and walk into the village, walk into the market. So we're told that you should learn that when you go to work, when you show up, you leave the basket at the gate. So literally what you're doing is leaving those emotions, those challenges, the stresses that you had from where you came from at the gate. When you come through this door, you're wearing your customer service smile. And now you're out to meet the customer need and the customer expectations. Those are the personality traits, some of them that I take you through. And then last but not least, I walk you through the principles and I explain to you why they're important. So that takes us through those 5. And I keep on saying to people that customer service will increase your sales. It will increase your sales. And there is a statistic that was carried by PricewaterhouseCoopers, where it says that customers will pay a premium of up to 16% over and above the price of your product or service because of good customer service. So who doesn't want to be paid that kind of money? Who doesn't want their revenues to increase? Who doesn't want their lives to improve? That is why I called it building wealth through customer service.
So I think that's indeed a very, very crucial topic. Everyone has to know that. So you are from Africa, we are in India, but customer service remains the same. All businesses need it. Whether you are an employee or a manager or a CEO, you need it, because if you are an employee, your customer is your boss. If you are a boss, your customer is somebody else. So like this is like, you also need this at home and with other relationships.
Yeah.
Of course, I think
very true, Rusha.
this course is going to be interesting. Do you have any kind of deliverables or resources that trainers can expect, that your trainees can expect from your course?
Well, with every course that I do, I have a quiz, because I find that anybody who's out of school, now we start calling that adult learning. I find that once you're out of school, you need to keep on having reminders. So a quick quiz after the session helps you to have total recall of what you have learned. I then also give you a workbook that you can take away with you. So even if you cannot hear Lucy's voice in your ear, you can read, or you can go back to the quiz and just have a look at what it is that you went through in those 5 sessions. Yeah.
Great. We would also like to know a few success stories of your past students. Like, I'm sure you have been doing this for a long time, and what kind of feedback you have from your students?
Well, I am so humbled. And again, just like in the beginning of my career, I never made a connection. I never made a connection to the mentorship and the coaching. My biggest success story is a young man that I mentored personally when I was working in the 5-star hotels. And this gentleman had his own struggles, but I could see the potential in him. And so I applied the patience, the persistence, and showed him that I trusted in his gut feeling. He needed to go for it. He really went back and forth for a long time. Today, he's an expatriate. He went as far as working in another country in a director position. And he actually comes back to me and says, "Thank you so much, Lucy. If you did not believe in me, if you did not give me the mentorship and the coaching that I needed, I would not be in this position." Today, he's having situations where people are headhunting him. and he has a choice to choose. But also, again, you might be a mentor or a clarity coach, but unless the student wants to learn, nothing will happen. And I think it was in the book, what is it called? In the book, The Monk Who Sold his Ferrari.
Yeah. I
Robin
think that's
Sharma.
Robin Sharma. Yeah.
Yes, Robin Sharma, where he says that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I think he borrowed that from the Chinese. The name is gone out of my head right now. But that was the message. He was ready and I was there. And so I was able to make him go on this journey. The other people that I have, and I can hand pick them literally, are in managerial positions today, in the same 5-star hotels. So again, it was customer service. Rochelle, I cannot speak about customer service enough. If you want to grow, you've got to know where your revenues are coming from.
Exactly.
They are coming from that customer. That customer is important. So it's customer 101, whether you like it or not. And these ones have grown. Again, they are within the country. And then last but not least is people who have gone out and started their own businesses. And they still call me to give them guidance. And in my growth journey, I've gone as far as taking on digital marketing. And that's one milestone I did not speak about. And so now I am a guru in digital marketing, whether it comes to content creation,
Awesome.
content placement, yes, calendars. So they come back to me and ask me for guidance. So these are the success stories that I have, and they keep on coming up. I mean, right now, when I got this new position as executive director, I've had calls on people reminding me how I have helped them get where they are because of customer service, and telling me that, Lucy, because you have this customer service and servitude in you, you will succeed in this position now. Isn't that humbling, Rochelle?
Of course, why not? Lucy,
So
one last question I have for you.
Yes.
About your future plans.
Whoa, okay. Now things are connected. Now I'm in that headspace where things are connecting. People are in the digital space. People need the virtual spaces. So I am working on a self-paced online course, which is automated, to be put onto my website. Now, the homework that I've done just tells me this is going to cost me an arm and a leg. But that is further down the road. It is not going to kill my dream. So what have I started doing this January? I've started creating content for self-paced online courses so that I can reach a wider audience. Today, I'm with you. You're in India and I'm in Nairobi, Kenya. And look, we are connecting. So I would like the situation where my self-paced online courses and automation is available to a wider English-speaking audience. That's where I'm starting. Later on, I would look at translating it to another language. Then again, my boundaries expand. So things like customer service, since I already have a course written out, that will become a self-paced. Again, things like success series and self-awareness, those are the things that I am creating. So I am so grateful for platforms like SkillsRediscovery because I'm already testing the borders. I'm going beyond these borders. That is my future plan.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Lucy, for interacting with us. So once again, this course is called Build Wealth Through Customer Service. In our country, India, customer is called the king, and everybody knows how to, make the king happy, and we have to learn that art, right? So
yes.
Look for more details on this course on our website, which is there in the description box. Thank you so much, Lucy, for joining us in this short conversation. It was great interacting with you.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. I hope we can speak again soon.
Definitely.
Bye-bye now.